Hey everyone, welcome to this video. This is me doing my own nails. It's an acrylic overlay and I'm going to file off and then reapply. So I'm filing off now, and this is all I'm filing through is gel polish and foil, and you don't need a really meaty bit for this. I'm using a tornado bit, but it's quite well worn. If this was a brand new tornado bit, then it would go through acrylic like a hot knife through butter, but I'm only going through gel polish and foil. So the fact that this is quite worn, it's perfect for this. So I'm going to remove all of that. And I'm going to show you there's a little bit of lifting on this nail, and this was actually the only nail that had any lifting on it, so I thought I would just focus on that, and it really is only a tiny little lift, but you can see it, and I will zoom in. And then when I remove it, I get the drill, the file I should say, behind the lift. Right, so if you can see that there, the white, that is lifted product. It's lifted away from the natural nail. Right there, all of that white. So I'm going to put the tip of the bit, the drill bit, behind the lift and see it flick away, because I've made it so thin now that it will just flick off. And then the rest of that, where you can see the white bits, I'm going to get off further on in the process with the sanding band, which I'll be using to take the shine off of the natural nail where it's grown out. So I'm just thinned it out a little bit more, pushing back the cuticles, and my cuticle pusher is a pusher and a scraper. So you push the cuticle back, and as you pull forward it scrapes off any of the cuticle that's on the nail. And then my cuticle nippers are scissors, so they look like a pair of scissors, but the end that you use there is the same as cuticle nippers. I just prefer, they're just easier to hold, these, and just snip round. It looks like I'm really tugging on it, but I'm not. It's because I've slowed it down. And then the arbour band, I'm just scoring the end of it so it's not sharp and it doesn't cut the skin. And this is how you adjust your mandrel, by loosening or tightening this screw at the end. So slide your sanding band on, and then if you find that it's too loose on there and it's sliding up and down, tighten the gold screw at the end, and that will stop it moving about. And if then you're struggling to get the sanding band off, you can just loosen the screw. But not all mandrels have that, so you won't be able to do it with certain mandrels, but this type of mandrel you can adjust, and it does make life a lot easier. And that is a 180 grit, which is a medium grit, and that's what I use for prep and for buffing at the end. And I'm just going to flick off the last little bits of that lift. So just kind of poke at it with the tip, and then take the shine off the natural nail, and I give the cuticle another slight push as I'm doing it. Then the dehydrator, these are Glitterbels Products, that's their dehydrator, which sometimes is called prep. That goes first, always prep first. You can do 2 coats if you want to really dehydrate, if you've got someone that's a bit oily nail plates. And then the acid-free primer. Some primers do have acid. Theirs is acid free. Some companies do an acid free and an acid primer. This you only need a tiny bit, and you don't really want to be getting on the skin. And then for the acrylic application, you want to get right up as far as you can to the cuticle without touching it. Sorry about the bad view there. It's just a bit awkward when I'm trying to hold my finger still. And I used pink Opal Shimmer from Glitterbels, which I love. And just blend it back. And you always want to make sure that you put enough product on so that you've got something to file if you feel that you're going to need to. And then always my first point of filing is the E-file. And I always use a medium safety bit. That smooth bit there is what makes it a safety bit, because if it touches the skin it won't cut. You don't want to go out of your way to touch the skin, obviously. And it doesn't go all the way in like that. It will. You want it out a bit, around about there, so that you can get over the whole nail. If it's too close to the drill, to the file, you won't be able to get over the nail. And this is quite an old E-file. It's Kupa 220, and I have it about there, which is not quite as high as it goes, but more than half. And then over the top from one side to the other to get that smooth, to get rid of any dips or any high points, and around the cuticle. And you can get right up to the cuticle because you've got the smooth end to the drill bit. And then down the nail. There's something very therapeutic about seeing that fly off. Now that's what you don't want to do, backwards and forwards. There's no advantage to it. The drill only works in one direction, and if you're right-handed you're going to have it in forwards. And this is what you do want to be doing. Lift off and back, and lift it off and go back and come over again. You're much more likely to slip off the nail if you're going backwards and forwards. And I want to thin it out at the free edge, so I'm going to take it from underneath because I don't want to take any more off the top. And then we go down that way to get rid of any dips, and then score the edge of the hand file so it's not sharp and you don't cut your client. Because if you were to slice up the side like that with a sharp edge, ooh, painful. So this is the side walls, dead straight. And then around the cuticle. Gently, with not hardly any pressure. And I've just highlighted that bit there where you can see it's not as white as the rest of the nail because the file hasn't hit it, because it's lower than everything else. So the file is not touching that, which means there's a dip there. And it looks like I'm filing directly on that dip, but I'm not. It's the surrounding area is going to get hit by the file until it comes down to meet that dip, and then everything is at the same level. And the free edge to get that nice and straight, and I will have to turn my hand around and look at it from the other view to make sure that's straight. I don't show it on here because I can never get it in shot. And that is nicely curved so that it goes into the cuticle area. And then for buffing, you can either buff by hand. Some people use a buffing block. You only want the 180 side of this, not the 100. And you can feel by touching it, which is the sharper side. And then you want to file over the top, down the sides, just to smooth it off enough to look nice, but not so smooth that nothing sticks, because you want your top coat to stick, or you might be putting polish on that you're going to want to stick. Then we're going back to the 180 grit sanding band that we used for the prep. I don't do both. I always buff like this with the sanding band. I don't usually buff manually with that pink manual buffer, but you can do it either way. And you can get right round the cuticle, down the side walls and over the top. And then I usually wipe the nail over with acetone just to get rid of any last little bits of last little scratches like that. And then top coat. Well, I hope this has been of some use. It's not as detailed as it could be, but there's just some little hints and tips there. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I look forward to next time. Bye.